Hello and good morning from not from Vancouver, from Prince George. So there is a small shift in my life altogether. I was in India after 3 long years break, thanks to COVID. Anyway, I had a great time. My sister's marriage, a lot of personal stuffs, but then it was fun. And I'm back to Prince George, getting into a new terrain, a little bit of filmmaking, a school, and a lot of stuff which we'll tell you later. The saddest part is we are going to miss Hermes again. He is back in Mara, which makes me feel jealous. And we have another wonderful guest and a spectacular genre of photography, which is macro, which I find the most toughest. I try to focus on the head, most likely I get the tail. So that's the confusion I have with macro. And we have Raj Bharathi joining us with his experience, spectacular collection of photos, and let's learn a lot more from him. Hello,
Hi,
how are
hi
you?
Nisha. Very good, very good. Glad to be here, and thanks for the great opportunity.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it's always, feel good fact to get to see people from the same field and different segments and experience, especially spectacular images. So, we would like to know your journey. How you got into this? Where are you? How do you find time? What equipments you use? What's your tips? A lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Macro is an interesting genre, as you said. It's one of the toughest genre, and since you're in wildlife, we're all in wildlife too. So I
Yes.
just focus on the smaller ones, and where
And
many people are focusing on the big cats. So there are some people doing small stuff, and there we are. So this show, we will go through each and everything that you asked one by one,
great.
and glad to hear. Hermes is in Mara. Mara is an
M-
interesting spot.
Making me jealous, to be honest. It's almost a year for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to go there someday.
Please
Okay,
let us know. And
sure.
we have a camp there. So it's going to be a, you can be our guest.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, we'll definitely reach out to you guys when
Yeah.
we plan the
When
trip.
it's the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just prepared a small presentation. Probably I can share that and get things
Please.
started. So for
Yeah.
everybody who is watching, this is Raj Bharti. So we'll get into the presentation. We'll explain
How
why
do you
we are
got
here.
into this? And your introduction is the first thing. I know that you are into macro, you are based in Singapore, but how did you fall in love with macro? And that's the starting question.
Sure, sure, sure. Right. Let's jump in.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. So hello
Yes.
everyone. This is Macro World by Raj Bharati, and we have Paws Trails Explorers sponsoring this show for us. It's a great opportunity to understand why I got into macro and why I love macro so much, especially macro of critters, and how I shoot them, and
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. Uh, Raj, you're muted. Your sound is not coming. You're muted. I think you just need to unmute.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Small glitches. I think it's all set now.
it's okay. Yeah, and if you can get back to the presentation, perfect.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So let me go. So what I've set the agenda as just to start with an introduction about me, and then we will talk
Yeah,
about macro photography, my macro journey, the
great.
gears I use. Also have an interesting metaverse gallery tour for all the Web3 folks who are out there. Let's
Uh-huh.
try it out. If it works, it works. Otherwise, we'll have a gallery to see,
Good.
and then I will share how we can find bugs. And I also want to touch upon critter conservation. You can call it insect conservation, bugs conservation. No, it's less spoken about, but they are elemental building blocks of ecosystem. I definitely want to touch on that, and then we will share some tips on beginner macro, how to start, what to do, and then we will go to
Wonderful.
Q&A. Thanks, Nisha. All right, so this is about me. I'm Raj Bharati. I'm based in Singapore right now, but I'm originally from Coimbatore, India. I've started as a technology consultant. I've worked in the US, and then I've traveled different parts. I had a company in India which got acquired about 2020. Then, after which I moved to Singapore, and then I got into macro, and that's a story I would share in the next slide. But this is about me, and right now I'm practicing naturalist, which I'm trying to learn about the ecosystem, trying to learn about what role each and every organism plays. All this kind of helps me nurture my learning and the path. So I will get into the next stage, which will explain.
Great.
Okay. So before jumping in, what I just want to put a picture out there. So this is a jumping spider, which is taken
Mm-hmm.
up close, and you see there are they have two large eyes and two. These are small eyes. Totally, they have eight eyes. I want to ask the folks, if you're there on chat or YouTube chat, do you think spiders are insects?
A good question.
The cool
There
fact
is,
is,
I,
yes,
I,
spiders.
I, they're not insects. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not insects. So the thing is, many people call I see an insect. It could be a spider, but spider is not an insect. Mostly insects have six legs, the basic criteria, and then spiders have eight, right? So they belong to a different class. I just wanted to just have a a cool fact before we jump into the session. So this is about macro, so we'll get into what is macro photography, right? So macro photography, there are three key aspects to macro photography, and two elements are there on the slide, which you
Mm-hmm.
see there, and the third I'll get into it after I explain those two, right? So
Okay.
the macro is something that you shoot, a close-up photography of any subject,
Mm-hmm.
so that it magnifies their details and bring them to life size. So that is called macro photography. It's a close-up photography, right?
Yep.
For that you need at least two things, elemental things. One is the tool. You can shoot with a camera, you can shoot with a smartphone. These days smartphone works wonders too.
Yep.
And 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 then you need a subject. The subject can be anything, right? And as long as you like the subject, you're passionate about the subject,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can shoot great photographs. I believe in that. So the subject that I primarily shoot are all critters, are all living critters. I shoot them in the wild, and here you see is a pair of male blue banded bees. They are sleeping at night, and this was actually shot on a iPhone 11 with the
Whoa.
macro lens. Yeah. So this is when I started out with just phone and additional lens. I'll talk about that later. So these are the two things: you need a good tool, you need a good subject, and you need passion for that. And the end, I mentioned there's a third one, right? The third one I've underlined there is the photo, the person. Without the person there's nothing. I
Of
always
course.
believe the person behind the lens is the key criteria for any good photography. Be it a great lens or a average lens, a good photog will bring out good details, good photography. End of the day, I believe
True.
in that.
Yeah.
So that's a key thing. So anybody who's starting it out, these are the three things you have to choose. You can choose a subject. It could be even coins or small blades, non-living things, but you should be passionate about it. You should see the abstract patterns there. You should know what you can see and how to compose. Once you admire that, then you can bring out those things. So choose your subject when you're jumping into macro photography. I
Yeah.
chose insects because I really like them a lot. So my macro journey. uh, so let's say this is the story I wanted to share today, in depth, how it all started. Um, so there was always a dot in everybody's life. So my dot, my dad was a professional photographer.
Oh, great.
And yeah, so when I was a kid, he handed down a camera to me, and he taught me how to compose. He taught me what are the rules, and
Mm-hmm.
aperture, focus. He taught me everything, but I wasn't very serious back then. And
Oh,
then
okay.
when I when I started working, I didn't get time to practice. So I think it all stayed back in my subconscious mind. And friends say, or family say, it's in the gene. So probably when I started macro, or when I had the urge to start macro,
Mm-hmm.
it would come to me.
Okay.
So fast forward, 2020. This was August 2020.
Okay.
I had moved to Singapore, and COVID
Okay.
was there. It was
Yeah.
creating a havoc, and we could hardly go out anywhere, right? And
Yeah.
Singapore had a lockdown, and what they did is, they said you can go out to nature parks, either you can go out to beaches to work out, do a quick walk, come back. So I felt nature park was something that I could go and explore. And the other thing that I would spend time is working with Nature Society in Singapore, and learning more about nature, and learning more about birds or other animals that there is. And then, when I go to nature parks, I saw a lot of critters coming up. And there was a friend of mine, Bennett Tan, in
Mm-hmm.
Singapore.
Okay.
He was doing macro with phone, and he used to post a picture of ant. And I asked him, how did you shoot this? He said, I shot with the lens. And where did you get this lens? He said, I got it from India. I was like taken back. Wow, you got it from the same country I'm from, and let me see where I can get one. But before I would order one, I went to the park with my son, and I took his magnifying glass, and I kept it below the iPhone, and I shot that. That's a
Oh,
monkey. So I just wanted, I wanted to see the insect up close. And when you see that, they bring out details, they bring out some shapes. I'm always fascinated by aliens and
yep.
sci-fi. So when I saw this, I felt like, okay, there is something unique. It looks like an alien. And it struck me, there are so many aliens living on our earth. I call them aliens because we hardly ever look at them, but we are searching for aliens in the outer space. So
Yep.
I gently, adorably call them the aliens of earth. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I started. So then I ordered a lens and immediately got it the same month. And then that was my first shot with a lens, um, which attached to a phone. I had edited it with some
Okay.
colors. Back then, I would do some color and back thing. It's a house
Mm-hmm.
jumper I found running on my son's Lego. I shot it.
Okay.
And this was
Okay.
the same August 2020. Then I
Uh-huh.
started exploring and started making my own lens, how to make it. And then, not only that, I started reading about each and every critter that I shoot. What
Mm-hmm.
is something unique about it? What is something special? When I got to know the spiders have eight eyes, that was something fascinating. Then I noticed every critter had something unique, something different, some superpower. So I started documenting them on social media, like Facebook, and certain nature groups. And then that led me into different opportunities in my photographic journey, which I will tell in the next slide, which I felt was enriching in terms of learning and also contributing towards a society. It was
Yeah.
enriching. So that kept me moving. So and fast forward, this was June 2021. I got the lens, and 1 year working with the phone. This is again shot with iPhone. This was it got selected in 35th awards, 100 top 100 macro
Oh, that's
photos in the
great.
world.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. And it was in the top 50. So
Oh.
and it was shot on the phone, but still when competing with the shot with the mirrorless or DSLR kind of pictures, I felt that was good because I didn't submit any other pictures apart from that. So
Okay.
so goes back to anybody who's listening, want to start a macro. It is the passion towards the subject that you shoot, what colors you can bring in them, what details you see, how you see, what eyes, uh, where are they looking at you. So all those, so that kind of helped me to get this shot. It was shot at night though. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I shoot with camera. I shoot with the mirrorless Olympus uh, EM1 Mark II, which I'll explain in my gear section.
Okay.
And this one, fast forward June 22. Now I shoot with the camera. I have few gears which I'll explain what gears I shoot. So kind of a
Uh-huh.
journey. It in a timeline of my shots, how it progressed, but
Yeah.
also there were some moments which I like to share. Was my picture got published in Nature Watch by
Great.
Nature Society Singapore. It was on the cover, also a article in it, and
Mm-hmm.
then and this was in CNA. Did a segment on me how to
Oh,
play with the
wonderful.
wild. Yeah, so watching that, there was a spider researcher in Singapore. He
Mm-hmm.
called me and said, I like one part that you mentioned in this segment. I felt that when everybody can explore a nature park with a small lens attached to the phone, when I say small lens, it'll be like this. I don't know if I can see here. um, it'll be a small lens like this, and usually I attach it with the phone.
Oh, okay.
And I
Oh,
know when you go explore and see things in you know
yeah.
magnifying detail, you start building love for them. You start
Yeah.
admiring them. You lose the
Yeah.
fear when you
Yeah.
start admiring all the insects. Then what you do is you would not trample on on their habitat.
Yeah.
In a way, you will start admiring those habitats. You will start protecting them, and that's
Yeah.
one way to conserve nature, because
Yes.
everybody will start to love nature more,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know that somebody you like lives there.
Yeah.
So that's one way to go, and he wants to promote it. And he told me that that was something touching, so he wants to promote it, which
Mm-hmm.
I feel that that's a good message for everybody else who wants to
Yeah.
practice, kind of pass it on to other people.
Sure. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, and also Singapore Tourism Board did a segment for me as a promotion for nature.
Oh.
Like people, they want more people to visit Singapore, not just for it's a concrete jungle, but you can come there and see more nature, more bugs. So they did a
Yeah.
segment. This was on Singapore Tourism Board's website. And
Okay.
I also contribute towards biome research project in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
where I help beetle survey, beetle research. We've identified a lot of new species.
Great.
We keep doing this stuff. I mean, I have maybe half terabyte of pictures of species, different species. So I
Oh,
go
that's
on survey
wonderful.
almost every other night. Weekends, we would spend roughly 5 6 hours in the forest. I know it's quite exciting, because when you're there in nature, you're connecting with nature. Nature is the best teacher. And it'll teach you a lot of patience. It'll teach you a lot of
Yep.
things that you can connect with the earth. So I really love. So what I'm saying is, once you're passionate about the subject and the environment you're shooting, I think that will be reflected back in your photographs, and that's one thing that everybody can take in any genre or any subject that you want to shoot.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is my macro gear. When I started with my phone, I'm shooting here a small butterfly. I had all these lens made
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
lights.
crazy.
Yeah, so I started collecting more lens. I started making more lens for myself, and this is how I started. And this whole 1 year, I went on doing a lot of stuff on phone. And phone, there is a people who do phone and think can be on phone forever. I think it's not the right thing. That there was a I would call him more like a master mentor who I really admire, Desmond. He told me, what, you're doing well with phone, all is okay, but I think you need to move on to camera, because you're losing the quality and detail. And I felt that that is the moment I need to buy a camera, so I went and bought the camera the next day.
Oh.
So yeah, because there is a comparison, right? Like, you take a small cup, and then you take a big a glass of glass, right? A
Mm-hmm.
small lid can hold only a certain amount of water, but a cup
Yeah.
can hold a lot of water. That's how the sensor works. The phone sensor, whatever they call it, 120 megapixel or whatever, the sensor is so small, so tiny. That's the amount of light it can capture. That's the detail
Okay.
limitation. And but the sensor in the camera is bigger, so probably you will capture more light, you will capture more detail. And there's this basic fundamental physics. It cannot be
Hmm.
changed, right? As long as the sensor grows big in a phone up to the size of a camera, maybe then the phone can be better. But a lot of people I know that are doing macro on phone, which is actually certain times I feel it is complicated, also it's a little bit easy because AI kind of helps. So that is something people who want to take it to the next level should consider getting into a professional setup, which I started doing
Okay.
almost a year right now. So
Uh-huh.
the camera that I shoot is Olympus EM1 Mark II,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a mirrorless 4/3, so I have a good crop factor of 2x.
Okay.
And the reason I chose is mostly it's lightweight. The crop factor is 2x. A lot of people shoot on full frame too, but
Okay.
mirrorless works right for me because macro detail matters. And you know and the lens that I use is to have two lenses. One is
Mm-hmm.
Lava 50 mm 2.8 2x, which I got recently, and
Uh-huh.
then I also have the Olympus 60 mm, which is again f2.8. I think it is 1.2x. Oh, 1:1. It's just 1:1 lens. The magnification is just 1:1. So when I say 1:1, what it means is that if a insect is once okay, if it is 1 centimeter in life
Mm-hmm.
size, it will be reflected on the sensor as same as 1 centimeter on
Oh.
the sensor. So you're capturing at 1:1, and then the lava is two x, so it is two centimeter is what is captured on the sensor.
Okay.
So you get more magnification and more details.
Wonderful.
And I use various lens, flash. I mean, this is my basic setup right now. I don't know if you can see properly on
One
the.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is the lava lens. This is my camera. This is a 3350,
Mm-hmm.
Godox 3350. I also use Godox 860.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using this for a lot of time, but now since I just changed to lava, I have shifted back to 3350. And this was what they call a diffuser, is a box diffuser with a panel. I also have
Mm-hmm.
other diffusers with me. This is uh, this is by Cygnus Tech, and I'll show you this by Cygnus Tech. So a diffuser is important. Uh, at the end of the day, I wouldn't give much weightage only to diffuser, but there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things in the camera. But diffuser kind of helps the light go good on a subject. It is not harsh. And
Okay.
this is one of the mistakes a lot of macro people do, is that they start shooting with flash, or they would start shooting just with their bounce plate
Mm-hmm.
and a minimal diffusion. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is the highlights are harsh, they lose the detail, they lose the colors. So that is one technique to use a good diffuser to bring down the light to a
Mm-hmm.
good softness, and it's uniform across the subject, so you can get
Mm-hmm.
good details, and you can see all the patterns in the subject.
Great.
Okay, so um just a quick segue of pictures. When I started shooting, I also used LED lights with phone. So the left one is shot on a phone with LED
Okay.
lights and extra diffusion. I had a twin light diffusion system
Okay.
uh, with the lens, and I shot this. And the right one is shot with again um, with the camera, and I use Raynox for this shot. Raynox
Uh-huh.
adds 1.5x magnification on top of your lens is 1.1, so it probably brings it up to 2.5x
Uh,
magnification.
Okay.
Uh, and that's a moth sitting on my hand. So at night, sometimes when you take a leaf, the moth will be there, and when you're shooting, they will slowly, gradually, either, I mean, most times they won't fly, they will try to climb on your finger. You stay still
Oh.
and then you get the shot.
That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to take to a metaverse gallery. Let's see how it loads. If it doesn't load, then we will I know I'll walk you through a few things. But I know while it is loading, it might take like 30 seconds. I want to say, for all the things that we have seen so far, the key
Mm-hmm.
aspect of macro which helped me do better is that, having a good passion in what we do, and
Mm-hmm.
practice the craft with discipline. So this is your
Yeah.
craft, and then you are against you, not compare with anyone, and just keep doing things better in your
Yeah.
own pace, right?
Makes
So
sense.
and anybody who's on YouTube or listening, if you have any questions, please feel free to send it to the host, and then
Yeah.
we can answer in between. I want to make it more uh, lively.
Yeah, there is one question which is like how to choose lens take on jumping spider.
Okay, sure. So um before the tour, I can tell about the choosing the lens. Is it say
Mm-hmm.
does it say how to choose the lens for jumping spider?
How to choose lens take on jumping spider? That's the question, I think. Yeah, that's what it
Okay.
is written there. So I am also a bit confused
Okay.
with that.
Okay, so you can shoot jumping spider pretty much with any lens, but a good macro lens, it should have a 1:1. As I said,
Okay.
1:1 is life size. It will just show the same size of the subject you're shooting on your
Mm-hmm.
sensor. So
Okay.
I try to shoot it 1:1, and I chose those two lens because it has 1:1 and also higher magnification,
Mm-hmm.
and some would take up to 5x, which is the higher the magnification, you need more lighting, more
Mm-hmm.
stability.
Mm-hmm.
And since I shoot all my shots handheld, I
Okay.
do I just keep it to 1:1 or 2x max.
That's great.
Okay, so here is a shot of a leaf chafer. It's a beetle.
Okay.
Yeah, so this I call this beetle as the sinful green goblin because it's got a shiny elytra. You see, it's all shiny,
Yeah.
and the difficult part of shooting this is the keeping a good diffusion, because it will shine the light back. Once it shines up, you will
Mm-hmm.
lose the details, you will lose the colors. So I had to shoot it
Mm-hmm.
with low light, and then probably work on I did work on Lightroom to bring it up all the details.
We have
So
another question just now from
sure.
Jay Prakash. How do we focus on the subject's eyes and get fuller details as well as on the subject, namely insect handheld mainly?
Okay, so okay, so you uh, maybe you can turn to the camera.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so imagine your subject is here. when i'm
Mm-hmm.
when i'm shooting, i I generally try to hold the leaf. Let's say this is the leaf and the subject
Mm-hmm.
is right here. I
Okay.
generally hold the leaf closely, and
Okay.
then have to bend the leaf a little bit so that your lens is almost halfway through. So you try to get to the eye level. So your lens should,
Okay.
your diffuser panel should be touching this leaf, so that
Okay.
your eye line and the subject is in straight line. So this shot, which is actually on the gallery right now where it stopped,
Okay.
you see it is focused on the eye level. And I would encourage every beginner who's shooting out, does don't shoot as you see from top or side, but
Mm-hmm.
try the face shot, try the eye shot, which is something they're looking at you, they're looking
Mm.
right at you, so that makes a difference. And most times they keep moving, they keep
Yeah,
moving.
that was my question because if you're going to keep your camera
Yeah,
right on the leaf, the moment
yeah.
they see some movement, don't you think they'll just jump away?
Yeah. So for this particular shot, I don't know if you're seeing there. When you come back, you will see a spider. For one shot, I would spend at least 45 to 1 hour with the subject.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can get the shot done by 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to torture your subject.
Yeah.
You don't put pressure on them. You
Yeah.
just let them move on their own, but you
Yes.
have to keep adjusting to where they are. So if the leaf is like this, if they keep moving all over the leaf, they will try
Uh-huh.
to jump, and 8 or 10 times they will jump on your lens. They and they
Okay.
and they'll jump on your hand, they will jump on your camera. So you have to put the leaf back again, get the subject back to the leaf, and
Okay.
stay composed. And you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
uh yeah, so that's the key to getting a good shot at the eye level,
Mm-hmm.
because and they keep moving. If it's a
Okay.
flying, if a flying insect, that's a different story altogether, because a flying insect, you hardly have very less time, because let's say a dragonfly, you go near it, you can't handle the dragonfly in your hand, or even a butterfly for the matter, right? So you have
Yep.
to get right there and take a shot. So need to know your angle, need to know how you can approach them,
Yep.
slow and steady, and get a shot. That's the key to getting a shot of a eye level.
Yeah. I mean, it sound quite a task.
Yeah, I mean, it takes practice. After a while, you would, you know, you will get
You
it. But
need to you need to have a communication with the spiders and all the insects. You should. No, please, spider, stay there. I need to take a picture.
I sometimes I feel like, some after taking shooting with a lot of insects and critters and spiders and bugs, sometimes you feel they like you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they stay good for you. Sometimes they are staying there. Sometimes some insects fly into my home. I'm surprised to see different flying insects coming in Singapore, and I would shoot that at home, because it just flew in, and I would just put a stick on it. It'll climb on the stick, and I've taken a shot. The one that you shot on the banner, it
Okay.
flew into a condo. I took a stick, it climbed on the stick, and then I held the stick and I took a shot. It was a stack of 8 shots. So that's how I got the shot at the eye level.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So are you back on the gallery, Nisha?
Yes, I'm back on the gallery.
Really? Okay. So here you see, this is a jumping spider. I got that right when they they mold their exoskeleton, and it was molting, and lucky it just stayed. Unfortunate for the spider, it stuck with it for um, some time, but I was able to take a shot, and this was well received.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and
Oh,
this was a
beautiful.
Yeah, this was in motion. The bee is shot when it was, they hardly stay in taking a nectar, maybe few seconds. So I had to keep moving and moving and taking a shot, and it worked out
Mm-hmm.
well.
It's beautiful, and the colors really amazing.
Yeah, thanks. 1 second. Let me just leave this spot.
Yeah, this the virtual spaces are quite hard to manage, especially on a
Yeah.
webinar.
Yeah, true. And this one, the green dragon that you see, was a rare find. It's a stick insect. We don't have dragons, but that green thing was a stick insect. So
Hmm.
sometimes when you're venturing into the forest, you you find some rare stuff, and they're quite unique. The details at up close looks amazing. The mouth, that's the mouth. It eats leaves.
I would suggest Raj to go on a slide because you're not.
Slide.
I mean, a slideshow rather than this virtual space because it's not. I'm not able to get that feel of your
Oh,
actual image.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, let me do 1 second.
that way
Okay,
even.
yeah, for anybody who's there, I will post the virtual space as a link on the YouTube
Yes.
comments later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go
Yeah.
on the slideshow. Are you able to see
Yes.
this better?
Yes. And now it's way better. Yes.
Okay. So this is a leaf hopper, and
Mm-hmm.
they what they do is, see. I want to share few interesting stories. Let me know how on the time, how much we
Yeah.
time we have. Probably the thing is the critter world is so amazing, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things are uh, amazing about the critters that I've shot and I've learnt about it.
Mm-hmm.
It will help people who want to get
Mm.
into macro to get into macro,
Okay.
because it's amazing and super. So if you're running out of time, let me know. I will cut short and then jump into the next section. I'll
Yeah.
continue with the stories for now. So this is a leaf hopper, and they
Yeah.
have tail, and they tail like this tail is what they call is they some liquid from the stomach keeps moving out because it is
Okay.
shiny and it is like that, it's like optic fiber.
Uh-huh.
Why they have it is a defense mechanism. If a predator comes for it, they come for the
Mm.
shiny stuff and they catch the tail, they can shed the
Okay.
tail and they can run away.
Oh,
So
that's great.
that's, yeah, that's how smart they are. And this
Oh, wow.
this is the next shot. I really like this shot because I spent close to 3 to 4 hours with the viper. It was in the
Oh
wild,
my God.
and I just sitting so close. This shot with about 10 centimeter away from the head,
They
and
are
at one point
poisonous,
of,
right?
yeah, they're venomous. And they strike with great accuracy. The only thing that protects me is my diffuser panel, and I have a bouncer panel. As long as you hide the heat sensing, your hand has a thermal radiation, the radiation, right?
Oh, oh yeah.
And the snake has the pits. You can see the pit of the snake, the nose, that's
Yeah.
the pit.
Okay.
They can sense heat, but if you cover your hand with some panel and you're okay, then it doesn't sense you. Typically your your
Oh
camera
my
is
God.
what it sees. And at one point there was an ant coming up, running on the snake,
Oh.
and I had only one chance to shoot this one shot. I got
uh,
both the snake and the ant. It's a single raw file shot. You know, I was able to
That's
get both in focus,
wow.
and
That's
I can see,
amazing.
and you can see the leg is right there on its
On the
eyes.
eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was lifting the leg as though it is like, hey, I'm right here. Yeah,
This is crazy.
yeah. And this is one of my favorite shots. And this is a green crested lizard. We found it at night walks one time, and this is one of the shots. It just reminds me like a big dinosaur.
It
And
is.
yeah, and this shot is shot at night. I really like this shot, and I want to tell a few things about the shot. Is because you see this whole lighting is
Yeah.
iridescence of the wings, is because light is getting trapped between two wings which is placed side by side. And if you hit
Okay.
the flash at the right angle, a diffuse flash, you get this whole wings lighted up. I didn't use
Oh,
any backlighting for the shot, just single shot. And this is a single shot. And
wonderful.
and the frame was not cropped. And very very minor edits on this, not a lot. And probably I can share on the page my raw file, which is almost similar, the same blue tint. I was able to get
That's
the iridescence.
beautiful.
Yeah, and this already seen.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is one of my
Wow.
favorite shots, and I feel this is one of the rare shots because a lot of people don't have it. Because we find this is called a lacewing. A lacewing is
Okay.
one of very beneficial insect for the farmers, and
Uh-huh.
if you read about it, people will be how helpful they are, because
Mm-hmm.
they eat a lot of aphids, which are like pests
Okay.
for the plants. And they what they do is they lay the eggs like a thin line and pull it up all the way.
Oh.
Yeah, and what they do is, if ant comes up, they have some sticky globule, they won't climb here because of the scent or something, so the egg
Oh.
is safe.
I thought it is some plant.
No,
Okay.
I caught the lacewing laying an egg, and it's
Oh,
one of the rare shots so far I've taken, because
amazing.
um you know and after this shot it flew away.
Oh.
So I had taken few of the shots before this, but it just laid that one egg, and it left. Probably it might have continued laying, but I was so close, it flew away. And lacewings are very very
Okay.
skittish, and when they are laying eggs, it's hard to get a shot because you don't see them often laying eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of my rare shots and my favorite shots so far.
That's great.
And this is the iridescence of a beet. We have a lot of darkling beetle in Singapore, and which kind
Mm-hmm.
of radiates a different shine on the sheen, um, based on the lighting. So once you
Okay.
have a good diffusion, you can get all this psychedelic colors coming out from the beetle. Is so
Wonderful.
fascinating. And this is a spider.
Wow.
Yeah, so you see the head here and the four eyes are here.
Oh.
So this is called a tree stump spider, and so it belongs to one of the species of tree stumps, Polytus elidipes.
Uh-huh.
But the beauty of this is it
Mm-hmm.
would build large web at night, and it
Okay.
will it will hunt all the flying insects because it will come for the web. And after a night, after having its meal, it goes back on a twig like this, and then
Okay.
form and it comes to the stage. It will stay like this, like a tree stump. People, when you're looking in a day, you will hardly recognize it because it looks like a tree stump on a twig.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a the camouflage it has developed to save
Yeah.
itself during the day.
Great. Yeah, before we go to the next one, I have couple of questions from few
Sure,
people.
sure.
From the same person who was talking about handheld.
Okay.
The next question is any exercise to improve steady hands?
um Practice. But I had this in the tips.
Uh-huh.
Steady hands is basically, I shoot almost all my shots with one hand,
Uh-huh.
because what you
One
can
hand.
do is one hand, because I've customized my camera, all my settings that let me operate my camera with one hand. So typically I just hold it like this, and that's it. My subject is always, I'm holding a leaf or something on the left hand, I'm shooting, and lava
Mm-hmm.
lets me change the focus ring with one finger too.
Mm-hmm.
And even the on off switch I've customized to one hand. So everything's on this side.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and you can also rest. So see, if we're shooting a subject, you can always rest on your arm.
Wrist.
uh, yeah,
Or yeah.
you call the, I was doing the shotgun position. You can rest on your arm. You can
Mm-hmm.
sometimes rest your elbow on your thigh,
Okay.
right? So find
Yeah.
sources to rest. Sometimes you're taking a shot of a jumper or a spider on the ground. Just lay flat. I'll lay flat on the ground and shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next one is from Raghavendra, and that was the minimum safe distance for venomous snakes.
Okay. Um, I would not advise shooting venomous snakes. The viper I have shown you.
Mm-hmm.
That is non-aggressive, not aggressive, but they are. There is a different viper, which is which is a mangrove viper, same blue
Mm-hmm.
color. They
Uh-huh.
would strike at the flash, just like that. They can even sense heat on the flash, and they will strike. These
Wish.
guys, yeah, these guys are not aggressive. But don't shoot any of the venomous vipers here in India. Is
Mm-hmm.
like the Russell viper. They will
Mm-hmm.
strike. They know your hand. They can swing and strike. Don't do that. I will not shoot any other venomous snake up close. Like a
Okay.
viper or a cobra. Probably I will shoot from a distance. I wouldn't do that. But this viper, we can sense it. We have known it is not aggressive, and
Mm-hmm.
also before striking, they go into a S shape. The
Yeah.
body kind of moves into S shape before they strike. At least you can gauge they are trying to strike you.
Yeah.
So the answer is don't
Don't do
shoot.
that. Okay.
Don't do macro, because you're shooting a 10 centimeter or a 20 centimeter away from the subject. That's easy for them. They will strike before you blink your eye.
Yeah. That was my question when I saw the picture. And
Yeah.
and this is especially when you talk about macro and you talk about snakes,
Yeah.
it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Now the next one, Nikai said awesome, and Chittu's question is, sound like a very interesting hobby that needs a lot of time commitment. How does your family support you?
Yes, that's one thing I really happy about. My wife is in total support of this. She allows me to. We have two kids, and
Oh,
having to having two kids and taking time to go out in the forest at night, and having that. uh, freedom to shoot is all supported by the family. Now my son, he started out with my phone macro along with me. He loves insects, and they keep finding insects for me. My daughter brings, she's turning 2 next month. She'll bring
Mm-hmm.
leaf and stick for me to shoot. I always have 10 leaves in my backpack, like dry leaves,
Oh my God.
different shades. I don't use artificial backgrounds. I use colored leaf as a background.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I let the leaf close by to the subject. If they climb on it, the colored leaf serves as the background color.
That's great.
So yeah, my daughter collects all the colorful leaves. My son will collect a different insect, and now his friends in the condo, they are running around and finding, "Uncle, here's an insect for you to shoot."
That's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So the families and all support. They like what I do, so they're happy. I'm actually gifted for that. Yeah,
That's wonderful because we come across a lot of spouses. I mean, whether it is
yeah.
husband or wife, one of them can be the biggest villain in the
It's
story.
true, true, true.
So you're lucky, blessed, you're
Eh,
blessed. There
yes,
is one more from Deepa
yeah,
Girish. Awesome
yeah.
shots in macro photography. It is quite difficult to get your subject completely in focus as you get closer. Is there any specific technique that you use to get much of the subject in focus as possible?
Yeah. So focus, depth of field, aperture, they all work in a equation. So if you use a larger aperture,
Mm-hmm.
your depth of field is so shallow, and but the detail could be sharp. The area of focus will be sharp, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so shallow. So
Okay.
you can use that technique for stacking. So when I'm
Okay.
when I'm shooting a subject that is stable, and I'm able to shoot handheld shots of 8 to 15 shots, I know it won't move. Then I probably
Okay.
use a larger aperture with little bit of less lighting, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can get sharper details, and I would stack those pictures, and then the details are good. So this I think I shot the one we are stopped at. I shot it at I think
Okay.
7.1, yeah. So a stack of 8 shots. But if you want to take a quick shot, a larger shot, then use a smaller aperture, and work with the distance to get um, the full
Okay.
body in focus. And
Okay.
I mean, if it's the eyes of any subject, any critter is in focus, then the rest is all magic, because then they will all tell a story in a different way.
Okay, I have a question in this case.
Sure.
Because you mentioned you are shooting with one hand, you're not using a tripod or a monopod in this case. And
Yeah.
if you're going to shoot multiple shots of the same subject without changing a bit of the frame, how do you manage
Sure.
it?
Okay, so two methods I use. One with the Olympus lens, 60 mm.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
does automatic bracketing. So you set a bracket. The camera also lets you do a focus bracketing. You can set a bracket distance, and then you can set a differential in what slices you want to move in your frame.
Okay. Oh.
And the shots are done. 8 shots. I usually do only eight. I don't do more. Eight
Mm-hmm.
shots are done in less than 2 seconds. So 1.5 or 1.6 seconds, 8 shots will be done.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So it's nothing.
Okay.
Your flash also syncs. I use a power flash, so speed light, so it syncs with it. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Within less than 2 seconds, all your shots are done.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and
Yep.
the other method, if I'm using a lava also, in that
Mm-hmm.
there's no automatic focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's the good old method. You have to keep moving in the same frame, and go slice by slice. Imagine your focus frame works like a slice,
Okay.
every single slice. So you go slice by slice by slice by four, and then you can stack it back in your Photoshop or any other stacking software that you can use.
Oh, that looks quite a tedious job.
Yeah, yeah.
Sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now we can proceed.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
also one. Yeah, another jump. Sorry, another spider, which is bark. It's called a broadhead bark spider, because it's got a broad head, and it's one of a rare
Okay.
find. Yeah, so they also stay during the day on the wood like a bark,
Uh huh.
and this guy. is usually brown in color, but this particular species has developed the white coloration is because the tree you see will have a lot of lichen coloring, white
Oh,
patches,
yeah, I saw
blotches.
that.
So just to adapt to it, it has evolved with this coloration, which is amazing.
So amazing it is. And
Yeah,
it looked like what do you say, a crown on top of their heads
yeah,
or
yeah,
mask on top of their head. That I don't know, but it's amazing.
yeah,
How beautiful they are.
yeah. This is another beautiful beetle. The color emanates like a
Hmm.
heart on the center.
Yeah.
Uh, this is a
Mm,
lynx spider,
okay.
and it's got the spikes, and it's got a human-like face.
Oh, yeah. You can see that. Yeah, when you see it, when you say it and see it, it's a different
Yeah,
view.
true. So, likewise, this is one of the spider I really want to talk about. If we have time, maybe I'll spend 2 minutes to talk about. Uh,
Yes.
this was one of a very rare find in Singapore, and I collected the specimen for a researcher too
Uh-huh.
because it was never recorded before. It was
Oh.
the first record, and the beauty of the spider is it's called a bolus spider,
Uh-huh.
and it's one of the fascinating one of my fascinating or favorite spiders out there. It's because these spiders,
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they drop a small the sticky web, right,
Okay.
and add a small globule, like a small globule at the end, like a liquid drop, like
Okay.
a sticky drop, and
Okay.
they'll start swinging it.
Okay.
A- and it acts like a bolus, a hunting weapon used in the tribal days. And when a moth comes by, it will
Okay.
swing the globule and
Mm-hmm.
hit the moth and capture it.
Oh.
How it has evolved is like, it has a liking for moth, and
Uh-huh.
moth is something that is not easily captured on a web because it has all the fur like particle on its
Yeah.
body. As soon as it
Okay.
captures, it will release them and fly away.
Oh, okay.
So this is a orb weaver, which meaning it builds web, which has stopped. I mean, I don't know. During evolutionary process, it didn't build web. It started building this globule to capture moth. And you'll be amazed to hear about the next fact.
Mhm.
Just to attract the moth,
Okay.
it will release pheromone of a female moth.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Tricky.
tricky. So you imagine a spider has evolved to release pheromone of a moth, that to a
Okay.
female moth to attract male moth. And the male moth, when it starts flying, all these feelers on its legs, they are like sensors. They know which direction it is coming, what speed. Then there's a like computer processes and tells, okay, it is this direction. It'll swing
Wow.
the globule, and the sticky globule will arrest all the other particles so that the moth doesn't fly away, and then brings it back to eat. Such a fascinating creature.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
This is okay. We have Radhakrishnan over
yeah.
here. He is one of our regular viewer, and he have a question. Did you photograph tarantula in India?
Not yet. So after starting my macro journey, I have come to Coimbatore. Right now, I'm in my hometown, Coimbatore. I'm on
Uh-huh.
a vacation.
Oh,
It's
great.
just 2 weeks, but 1 week I wasn't well,
How
in
are you
cold and
okay now?
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, okay, all okay. So, luckily, I tested negative, so nothing
I was about to
serious.
ask you that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I tested twice, so no negative, all good.
that's good.
But I'm looking forward to explore. I mean, just in my house, home garden, I'm exploring. I've already found a species which is undescribed. It's a
That's
new
great.
species, and
Wow.
already work. Yeah, I shouldn't be telling more, but we
Yeah,
will work with the researcher to describe it, and it'll eventually be published in a year or two.
that's good. That's good. I have one more question from
Yeah.
Raghavendra. Show us the globule if you have.
No, I don't have, but I wanted to probably I haven't shot with the globule yet. I would love to
Okay.
document it, but there are other shots I didn't want to show because it belongs to other people.
Okay.
This is the only shot I got, and then it was given back to researcher.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah. So the next one, this is a Phidippus, which has a bigger jaws,
Mm,
and
wow.
yeah. So I'll go. So this is another interesting. Same like the bolus spider, it also senses, um, the incoming moth, but it doesn't
Okay.
release pheromone as such. But it has a
Okay.
nest. It has it's called a net casting spider, but it
Okay.
has a face of a auger, like a human auger like face, because two big
Okay.
eyes. And I have the pictures of the net casting style, but I haven't included in this demo. But what it does is it use two legs and it'll build a like a triangle shaped web, and whenever
Okay.
any moth flies in, it will just throw the web on that and catch, like a fisherman throwing a net. It'll cast a net to catch a moth. So there are amazing critters in the world that we haven't heard about or seen, and they have such superpowers that so fascinating that kept me moving. And this is this is one of the stories.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
The colors and the texture
yeah,
and the look, everything is so cool.
yeah. And this is also a funny guy. Like it's a Phidippus. It's a spider from North America, but it looks so like a old man with a beard and
Okay.
face. And this again a lynx. We already seen a lynx face
Wow.
close up, and this is a close up shot of a dragonfly. Dragonfly is our. If you read about dragonflies, I have a slide for dragonfly, but I don't know if we have time to talk about all that. But we can talk for a whole day about dragonflies. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you one fact, Nisha. You shoot big cats, right? Like
Yes.
the lions are the
Yeah.
kings of jungle, right? So
Yeah.
the accuracy at which lions hunt, they
Uh-huh.
hunt at about 25% accuracy. That's the rate of success,
Okay.
25% to 30%. But a dragonfly hunts at 96% accuracy.
Oof.
Yeah, they are flying predators. They would catch anything that is there in the aerial. They can, and the chopper, the helicopter was almost designed based on the flying
Based.
pattern of dragonfly. And they have the compound eye is got so many lenses, lens structure attached.
Mm-hmm.
All the small rounds are all small lens that you can see.
Wow.
Yeah, so all these are lens. They take in light so that
Okay.
they can gauge where the insect is coming or flying. They have, I mean, they're still trying to predict how it forms the image. Scientists are still working on it, but there are some species which can fly back and forth continents without stopping
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's
across the
that's
ocean.
amazing.
Yeah,
We have two more questions in between to
sure.
there is one Suresh. Thank you for doing this, Raj. Enjoying the show from London. And for someone who wants to start this hobby, which city you would recommend to start from?
Um, okay. Hi, Suresh. Thanks, Suresh. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thing is, there is critters everywhere. I have a slide for that. So the thing is, you can start if you're passionate about insects or you want to start shooting insects. One thing that you can find everywhere, which has conquered the whole world, is ant. Ants are amazing subjects to shoot. You just shoot an ant up close. You see their eyes, their the hair-like structure, the mandibles. They are so fierce, so powerful. You can find ant anywhere. You can start with any city. Doesn't matter. You'll find a lot of critters. I have one great tip. I will share how to find bugs in the next slide.
Okay.
So, okay,
And the
and this
next one is, yeah, one more actually.
yeah,
Shot with phone. Can you see few pictures and comment whenever you get some time? I think I'll ask in the end. You can share your details once again, and then
sure,
he can get in touch with you. Yes.
sure, yeah. And this was a shot. It's a flying longhorn beetle. Just shot at the right time, so I was able to get it in flight.
Great. Great.
Yeah, this is it's got like a coolers. And it's got the hair also coming up. It's a APS
Spike.
jumping spider. Yeah, I call it the punk
Yeah, yeah.
style.
It does. It looks so cool.
Cool, yeah. And you see the moth, and this guy is a spider.
Okay.
And during the day it will sit like this, and from the top all this white part will look like a bird dropping. It's called a bird
Yeah.
dropping spider. So the predator
Wow.
will think that's a dropping, so it won't come for it. It is secure. It just tastes, it's so soft and shiny. I was able to get the texture without the shine based on the
Okay.
diffusion, but it, if you look at just like that, it look like a bird dropping.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they have evolved in ways how they can protect themselves.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite subjects called owlfly, and such a magnificent creature. And this again, the sheen is from the light that's trapped between the wings. And I'm hoping to find here in Coimbatore because they are here somewhere in the near the lakes, and they can be found only at twilight, easily at twilight. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was
Hello?
on mute.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah. So this one is a bee which is just running on my hand. I know after a long walk, I came settled down in a what they call the shelter. I was
Okay.
sitting there, and this bee came for all the sweat because they like to take the sweat, the salts from your body. And he was running on my hand on the left, so I I shot it with my right hand.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's
it,
amazing.
yeah, he's moving. You see, the leg is coming up,
Yeah.
and he's trying to take the salt.
Oh, there is a limb saying proud to see a fellow Singaporean doing this. That's one. Then Flashpoint call you hi Tala.
Oh, okay, thank you. And this is the one that we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have a lot of
So
interesting shots. I will just finish this gallery, maybe few. This is a cicada molting,
yeah.
and I used a backlighting from the other angle so that the wings are getting lighted up from the back.
Yeah.
And this, you have seen the shot already. And this is a monkey faced lynx spider. It looks like a monkey.
Yeah. It is.
So no, I mean the critter world is
Yeah.
so amazing. You will find so many beautiful things all over. So well, let's get back to the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I've already shared few facts here.
Yeah.
So the other important point I want to touch on this is that already talked about one point is 1 second. Okay, so why insects are important? Why critters are important? Because
Mm-hmm.
they are all like small building blocks. You see, we hear only about bees. Bees are, if bees are gone, the whole world will end or something like that, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
every single insect, every single critter is playing an important role. Like hoverflies and wild and butterflies, they're all huge pollinators. I mean, there are multiple other pollinators working in tandem with bees, and everything is dependent on that particular plant, and the host plant is kind of dependent on those insects, right? And we
Yeah.
see a lot of changes in the change in habitat. Like
Mm-hmm.
people are, when even government are establishing nature parks, they don't take this into consideration. They would do monocropping, they would do all the fancy things. Eventually it kind of leads to the loss of the critter population, and in fact it gets replicated back onto the vegetation too. The mix will drop out because those host insects, the insects which depending on the host plants, are not there for them to pollinate. And it'll
Okay.
replicate. You will see in the area where a lot of beetles, if it's a good area with a good mix, you would see beetles, you will see dragonflies, predators who will keep things in balance, and there are birds which are depending on as a food on those things, right? It'll be a very good place with mix of flora and fauna. But when you see habitats or artificially created nature parks or zoning areas where being it's like monocropping style, you would see less and less of those because people don't understand from the bottom. They're running to
Mm-hmm.
save soil or water. They will kill all the ants. Ants are actually, in fact, helpful in terms of irrigating. They will aerate the soil. They and every other insect too, because they're decomposing the organic matter, and they are the natural scavengers of the earth. When they're all depleted, naturally everything loses its value, and then we are trying to save everything in unique kind of a pillar way, like verticals.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to take a holistic approach in taking this. And so that's why, at least I like this as a mission for everybody to lose their fear about insects, lose their fear about critters, start respecting them, start start admiring them. They are a beauty on the earth. Start to you can shoot pictures and enjoy those pictures, so you will start loving them. I want that as a something that people could take as a takeaway.
Oh, it's that's the best part of it. As a
Yeah,
photographer, if you can use your photography to share this message, that's when it makes it more meaningful.
definitely. Thanks a lot, Nisha. So here, how to find bugs. One very, very, very simple uh, tip. You have to slow down, slow down, slow down, slow
Okay.
down. Right. So if you go to a park or a tree or a bush or any plant, just stay there for 5 minutes. Just observe. Right. The whole world
Okay.
starts slowing down, and you will start noticing stuff. And another thing is, look for, if you see a leaf, look for pattern. The leaf
Okay.
might change. There might be a small bump, and then and you will see there'll be a insect or something moving up. You'll see a small insect moving. So as I said, the basic thing, ants everywhere, and people who want to start practicing macro can practice with ant, because there's some subject that you can chase around because they keep running. Sometimes they will stand, they will try to clean themselves. You can shoot good pictures from that. So you know slow down, because we are in a fast paced life. Everybody wants to run around, they don't see. When I came here to my hometown, I noticed at least 50 species within like 3 4 days, which when I was growing up I never noticed it. Hardly would see big beetles, and I used to play with that. But now I'm noticing a lot of new jumpers. Where were they? They are here, right here. They are all here, just we need to take time to notice them. That's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the beginner tips I want to do is, um, so who is starting with camera, right? Learn basic photography. You need to understand what is an aperture, what is a ISO, what is a shutter speed. Without basic, don't jump into photography, because without knowing all those, you can't go far. Right, you need to know
Okay.
those basics. Like, as you know, right, like shooting anything, you need to know the basic. A lot of people try to move from phone into professional camera. They just, that's why they I've seen them lose interest, because they haven't taken the effort to learn those basics. So if you're trying to move from your camera into a professional camera, this is something that you want to start with. And shooting macro, uh, somebody asked already, steady hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have steady hands, you can always rest your elbows. Right, rest your elbows on the ground, try to take shots which is on the lower part. Some people use
Mm-hmm.
tripods, small tripods. I hate carrying stuff around. I try to go with just my camera and maybe a backpack. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to carry a tripod, feel free to do so. That's something you can always try, because it's a
Okay.
little heavy, and you can't get your tripod into all the angles, because if you're shooting macro at a fixed subject, you can do that. But when you're
Okay.
venturing out into the wild and in the nature, your subject is somewhere in the bush. You need something stealth to move in and move out. So
Mm-hmm.
tripod, feel free to do so. It depends on the environment. And another thing is your breathing technique. uh,
Okay.
Sometimes when you're shooting like 10 shots, you need to hold your breath, because a small shake can cause your frame to move,
Yeah.
because it high mag. So hold your breath and take all the shots and then breathe out, so you
Mm-hmm.
practice your breathing. And whenever you're approaching your subject, move slow and steady. uh,
Okay.
you will see different angles from which you can move. Dragonflies, I've started moving right in the front of the eyes, but slow approach. Don't rush in.
Mm-hmm.
They will just fly away. And
Okay.
if you're uh, not able to shoot a lot of subjects on the day, night
Mm-hmm.
is the best time to shoot.
Okay.
I do shoot a lot at night. I mean, I
Uh,
carry a like a flashlight, and also carry a headlamp.
mm-hmm.
This is my night core headlamp, NU HC33, and again a flashlight. So it's easy at night to find subjects with flashlight because you can get the eye shine.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking on the ground, you're looking on this tree, any spider or any insect, the shine will come back to your eyes. You can
Okay.
see that they're easy to track it down. And don't be afraid to try new things. You can try a lot of different angles. As somebody asked a good question, right? How to shoot at the eye level? That's something you should try. When I started
Yeah.
out macro, I listened to uh, a pro tip by a good friend, and he's a macro pro, Nikki
Mm-hmm.
Bay. He's based out of Singapore. He's been shooting for like 10, 12 years.
Wow.
Somehow I got into his program towards the end, and he left a tip: shoot at eye level. Try to shoot at eye level. Try to shoot at different angles. So that's one tip I got. Great tip. When I right out starting out shooting with the phone, I applied
Mm-hmm.
that. Whenever
Yeah.
I shot, I try to shoot at the eye level.
That's great.
And yeah, so try different angles. Don't be afraid to try different things. You can try even a angle, from up above. Try different stuff, and also try stacking. You can try different shots and stack it together to get a good better depth of field.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and and many people who try start out with camera macro,
Mm-hmm.
they forget to use flash, or they don't use a diffuser, because you're shooting at you'll be shooting at f10 or f11, because you need a little bit of detail, depth of
Okay.
field. You need depth of field. So at that time you need a lot of light to support it, so you need an external speed light. Use a flash, but don't forget to use a diffuser, or any other way. That you can use a soft foam like this. You can cut a foam from anywhere, and maybe use two layers to diffuse the light, bounce it and diffuse it, so your light is softer, and it's not harsh. So if you can see all over, I can see there's no harsh lighting. It's soft, and you can get the details clearly from that. So
Yeah.
these are kind of beginner tips, and there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube. When I got my camera, I spent almost a week just listening to YouTube videos. and and
That helps.
yeah, and tame your beast. Tame the beast. I call this the beast. This is my tool, right? So just tame it, so you know
Yeah.
all your controls, how to do it. So once you tame it, then you know how to handle it. So that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. You're mute. Uh, you're mute. Your sound is gone. Sound mute. I think. Yeah. You need to just.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but
Perfect. Yeah.
okay. So um I'm open for questions. If anything I missed out, or if you wanna.
Let me just go through the questions. I see Prem saying good luck, and Janvi all the best, and Chan,
Thanks.
please, FB account. I think you can share your details once again, so that people who want to get in touch will be
Sure.
able to do that. Then Rekha Giri said hello, Ahmad Jafis, and Abdul Assis, Deepa Girish, Hariharan. Do you know
A lot of friends.
Jayaprakash? Yeah,
Yes. So we haven't met, but we talk a lot. Um, and he's in Singapore too.
yeah,
I,
he's in
yeah.
Singapore too. Yes,
Thanks for JB to
Ryan John.
say.
Then, what is the best way to connect with you? I live in France. That's Chitu.
Sure. My Instagram ID is there,
Okay.
and Facebook chat, Raj Bharati, and I've changed my Insta handle. It used to be called Eye of Ra Photography. Now it's called Raj Bharati Photo.
Yeah,
So
it's
you can
easy.
just tap on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing work and interesting facts. Best wishes. Reach greater heights. That's from Devi Ram. Chitu, good
Thank you.
questions, and Nitya, wish you good luck now. Then yeah, that's how. Then a lot of hello you can take a look at
Sure,
later. And
sure.
in general, it was an amazing session. You took us to the forest. And that one particular, I forgot the name of the insect which is laying egg, was
Yeah.
the best. Oh my
Thank you.
god,
That's my top
that
favorite. Yeah.
that is unbelievable. I really thought it is the plant. When as a
Yeah.
child I remember seeing this kind of plant with the small head on top of it,
Yeah.
and when you have dewdrops on top of that, it's really beautiful. So I thought it is a plant. I didn't even
Yeah.
cross my mind that it can be a process like this. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
And most times you have shot only those eggs. I mean, I've seen many photographs, many macro guys. You shoot eggs because we see only them, and it was a very, very rare instance. In fact, I was supposed to go to another forest to shoot. I decided I want to go to a different place. I just went alone, and it just came to me. So
Oh,
it was
lucky
lucky
day.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
lucky night.
And
Yeah,
your efforts, if you are
yeah,
sitting in your place, it's not going to happen. So definitely
yeah,
there is luck. And the best part is you put your effort and you went
yeah.
there, and then the rest is Mother Nature and its blessings.
True, true,
Any
definitely.
good book to know more about insects? That's from Raghavendra.
Um, More about insects. So, see, I generally read. I don't use Google to search on what type of insect they are. I first read about the species. iNaturalist is a great app from App Store. It's by Discovery, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You can download that. That will help you narrow the genus at least, or you can post it, and there are a lot of people contributors who would help you identify the species or at least to the genus level. So
Okay.
once you learn about that, then you can go just Google about the species and then and read. I mean, I don't have any particular book per se. For I do, this is my steps I follow.
Okay.
I generally check with the in Singapore there's a biodiversity site
Mm-hmm.
for beetle. I reach out to beetle guys. The professor I work with, I reach out to him and ask him what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So and they also teach about how to find each and every critter. There's different ways to find critters. So
Mm-hmm.
like beetles can be found on a old log. So there are different tips for that. So you can learn how to find them and learn about them, what they do, how they hide, what they
Okay.
yeah, yeah, all those.
And the next is from Sandy. Hello, insect whisperer. A huge fan of your works, and your vision, bro.
Yeah,
That's Sandy.
thank you, Tani.
So yeah, I think as I mentioned, there are a lot of hellos and a lot of thank yous, and I would like to say thank you on behalf of me as well as on behalf of
Thank you.
Paws. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you so much, appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Great. So we can share. You can share your Instagram handle as you mentioned, and dears, you can also find the details in Postrails feed, whether it is Instagram, FB, or Facebook. You will be able to see Raj's detail, and then you can move it. Contact him directly. Once again, Raj, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Good night.
All right. Good day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. So that was Raj and his journey as a photographer, from a tech enthusiast to photography, and the way he captured every moment. And that was definitely an amazing session. I think we have our next one soon. We will post you with the details, and I hope to see you all. COVID is still roaming around, so make sure you guys are safe. Take care, stay safe. Bye bye till we see you again.